got Jedi, you have Sith, you have scoundrels, you have princesses, you have Wookiees, bunch of sentient beings. Star Wars has a lot going on, but one thing that really makes it unique, creatures. Crazy, wacky, nutty, weird, goofy, silly creatures, and we are gonna give them the spotlight for a change. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Resistance Broadcast. I'm John Hoey. Thanks so much for joining us today, whether you're on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you are. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. We are going to do the Kessel Run. It is back, and what that is our list of the 12 top things in a specific subject, area, topic. This week, we're doing the 12 best creatures in Star Wars, and not sentient, so we can't do Wookiees or something like that, unfortunately. But we also have the Will of the Force. It is back once again. And of course, Resistance transmissions later on in the show, because what is Star Wars without laughter? And we like to end our shows with a good time. So doing that with me, as always, is James and Lacey. Guys, we're very colorful today with our swag. How are both of you doing today? James, that's a wonderful sweatshirt, by the way. Can I get one of those?
No.
Oh. What do you got there? You got the yellow Make Solo 2 Happen sweatshirt that you were famously known for at Star Wars Celebration. You got on, right?
Yeah. But what is unfortunate is that I was like, oh man, people are really liking the yellow sweatshirt, so I'll go make that something you can get on TeePublic. Then it turns out TeePublic doesn't make yellow sweatshirts, so
yikes.
You can buy yellow T-shirts and yellow other things that have the Make Solo 2 Happen logo on it, but not hooded sweatshirts. Sorry.
You feeling ready to talk some creatures?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm curious about your list. I haven't seen your list yet, so I'm very curious. Lacey,
you already know one of mine, I think.
I may, yeah. Oh yeah, I think I do. Lacey, you are wearing a very good choice of a shirt, I must say.
James didn't get the memo that we were wearing.
No, I got it. I said nope.
The maker. So John and I are just a couple of buddies in matching shirts. Couple of buddies.
John trying to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like
couple of buddies in matching shirts. Couple of buddies.
Yeah, so we're wearing the Thank the Maker shirt, our tribute to George Lucas, who is the reason why we're even able to talk about creatures and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm excited to do the Kessel Run's been a while since we've done that. I like doing these sorts of things, and they're kind of evergreen, which is cool, and we could always revisit them when new movies come out and stuff like that. So, I'm ready for a good time. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple of buddies ready to talk about creatures.
Geez.
I'm not ready to talk about creatures. I want to do Will of the Force.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That's right. Will of the Force. It's a topic that we haven't done in like 7 days. So let's send it to Mr. Yellow Sweatshirt himself because he's a banana. And that's why he's wearing yellow. His name is James Bainey, and go for it, my friend.
I fear nothing, for all this, as the Force wills it.
All right, guys, I'm going to do
Cheer
a little...
anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to do a little, if anybody, no one will get this reference, but the little Peter McKinnon, what's up, everybody? Nobody got that. All right.
Who's that? Kate McKinnon?
Peter McKinnon. Anyway. What's up? We're doing Will of the Force. It is back, as it always is. We got, let me count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, 4.5 questions, and we're gonna try to fly through these because we want to get to that creature talk. I think that's the mainstay of this episode. So let's start with this first one. It's about the Mandalorian. It's about the character, the Mandalorian. And the question, which always starts with a will, is will the Mandalorian, the character specifically, ever be in other Star Wars series or films? John gets to go second on this. Lacey, what do you think?
Oh, good, because I'm not sure.
Will he be in other movies or series? No, I don't think he will. I think The Mandalorian is purely for The Mandalorian at this point, currently.
All right, John, this is you now. What's up? What do you think?
I think he will. I think that Lucasfilm is going to do things with the streaming service, with series, if these things become hits where they can kind of do moderate crossovers to an extent. So I think if The Mandalorian being the first one is as a success and they do other stories that this character would be alive for in this timeline, I think we could see Pedro Pascal hop over and make an appearance in other series to enrich the stories and the connectivity. So I say he will.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that he will too. Definitely, I would say definitely not movies. Unless they really get something big on their hands and they want to do a movie in that era. But they're going to do a movie in the era of like after Return of the Jedi. Like people are going to be like, where's Luke? And they're like, forget it. You know, I think that'd be too complicated. But with other series, yeah, I think so. And it doesn't necessarily even have to take place in that time frame. Like I think on Monday I was talking about a series that takes place like adjacent to 4, 5, and 6. You could have like a kid, you know, show up and he be young and dark and getting ready to be led down the wrong path that ends up leading him to the bounty hunter lifestyle or whatever. Yeah, I think you could have this character show up. It doesn't even have to be the actor. So we're gonna go on to the next one. This one's coming from a patron of ours. They sent this in because they get the opportunity to send in the Will of Force questions.
That's right.
The patronage.
Tier 2 and up can submit
this
topics.
one.
It's great.
This one is from a general, Aaron Quinton. He said, will we see, whether it's films or live action or animated TV series, any stories set between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, specifically featuring Luke, Leia, Han, or Ben? John, what do you think of this one?
No, I don't think we will in terms of live action. They will predate characters and recast them. Like we've talked about with the prequels with Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi, but they'll never do in between. So they'll never say, here was Harrison Ford, and then here is Paul Dano as Han Solo, and then back to Harrison Ford again. Like, they're not going to do that. So, but animated, I could see, unless Mark Hamill like really starts making people angry or something, but I could see an animated series maybe. That'd be kind of cool if they did Luke and Ben Solo type of deal. I don't know if they'd get Adam Driver to do that. You'd have to probably pay him a lot of money at this point. But live action, I don't see that happening. Luke, Han, and Leia, especially Leia. You're not recasting Carrie Fisher at this point. They're going to let that character rest with her. So I am going to say, well, this is a layered question. Overall, I'm going to say no.
Lacey, thoughts on this?
I'm going to say no, they won't. They will not do any series, whether it be live action or animated, about this time period. I think they're throwing around some books and stuff during this period. I mean, Last Shot takes time during this period. But I think they're honestly trying to move past the Skywalker time period. And that's with the new movies, the new TV shows, everything that's coming down the way. I think they're trying to move out of this time period. And I think by going back during the time that Leia, Luke, and Han are around, I think is a disservice to the new stories that are going to be coming. So I don't think they will. I think Disney wants to move into their own characters and away from the ones that are established already.
Big fat yes. Absolutely. This is happening, in my opinion. The thing is it's not films. It's not live action. It's animated. They're going to do animated. They're going to be telling stories about Han and Leia and Luke for a long time. And that big open period where they can go on all sorts of different adventures as friends or the like Luke and training new Jedi Padawans. Pedi Jedi ones. That's ripe. That's super ripe, you know, for stuff to have like a young Ben Solo animated series, maybe voiced by Mark Hamill. I mean, That it seems so obvious to me, and I definitely think that would happen. It's all in the animated, nothing live action.
That's why I said this was a tough question to pick, but I liked parts of it because. But if I had to say will or will not, most of it is suggesting live action, so I had to say will not. But I said with the caveat that if they did animated, maybe Mark Hamill comes back or something. But
yeah. So that's that.
Thanks,
we
Aaron.
got another question here. Yep. Thank you. Will Luke Skywalker be shown with an ignited lightsaber at any point in the Rise of Skywalker? Doesn't matter if it's in the present or it's in a flashback or anything like that, a vision maybe. But at some point, are we going to see the character Luke Skywalker, as played by Mark Hamill, holding in his hand an ignited lightsaber? Who talks first? Who talked first? I talk first. Lacey, you talk first.
Me? No, we will not see Luke Skywalker ignite a lightsaber in The Rise of Skywalker. The reason because I think they've made it pretty clear that this story is not necessarily about him. It's about Rey. So I think it's taking away from her story to then put the lightsaber back into his hands. He even says in the trailer, like, I've passed on what I know to you. And I think that what he knows ultimately is that the best fight a Jedi can have is without a lightsaber and not with one. So no, they will not.
All right, John, what's your butt?
Well, this carefully worded question.
What's your butt?
I know, you always have an argument because you write these questions, so go ahead.
Well, it suggests it could be in a flashback or a vision. And originally, Rey's vision in The Force Awakens was supposed to show Luke with his lightsaber facing Vader. So, and I don't think that would have taken away from Rey's journey or her story. So,
but we didn't know that she had those powers yet.
Sure. But so while I think it's possible, and I've heard that this movie will have everything, including the kitchen sink. Jeez Louise. The kitchen sink thrown in terms of fan service, it makes me think it's quite possible. But I'll lean towards no as well, just because I feel like they had their chances to do that sort of thing with Luke. So if they were going to do it more, it would have been in 7. They would have included it in 7. They wound up taking it out. So I don't think they'll put it back in now. So I will say he will not be shown with an ignited lightsaber in Episode 9.
Right.
Man, that was exactly what I was going to say too, but I think your point, John, that you're not even leaning on yourself of like the idea that they have a chance to kind of give him back that little thing that maybe some of the fans were missing. You know what I mean? Let's see another scene with Luke Skywalker and a lightsaber's hand, like in some sort of hollow or vision or memory of something of like Ben saying, remember the times where we were best friends, or something. And I don't know.
You're saying a lot of or somethings. You've said something like a bunch of times. All I'm saying is that in 8, you already got that.
Yeah. I'll go no as well. But man, that's so tempting, John.
This might be one of those hashtag the Rise of Skywalker challenge questions.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Definitely. All right, next question comes in from another patron. This one from Michael Moore. They said, will Lando have more... Oh gosh, this one's so hard. Will Lando have more screen time in The Rise of Skywalker than Luke? I do not know. I'm going to have to go with yes, I think he will, because he's alive and the other character is not. So you're going to have this thing that's, most characters probably had more screen time than old Ben in Return of the Jedi, But John, what do you think on this?
Man, they screwed everything up. It would have been like 10 years ago. This question is so easy. Because it's like, well, Luke can show up and sit on a log and like say something for a minute and then leave. But now it's like you got flashbacks, you got visions, you got all this stuff you can throw in. They could have like if this movie's 3 hours long, they can do a like halfway through 90 minutes in, like let's revisit the scene at the Jedi Temple with Luke and Ben and do a 7-8 minute this is what happened before we go back to the action. And that would knock off Lando right there, because I don't think Lando's going to be in this movie for more than like 4 or 5 minutes. So just for the sake of that maybe happening, and instead of all of us saying the same answer, which I'm with this, I'm going to say no. I think Luke will somehow, some way, the Rise of Skywalker, it's not the Rise of Calrissian, will edge out Lando on screen time. And I might be wrong, but we'll see.
Lacey, you've been on very brand of like moving, in a direction away from Luke Skywalker. Are you leaning towards Lando might actually get a little bit more coverage in this movie?
No, I think Luke's going to have way more screen time than Lando.
Oh, I am shocked about that answer. Ooh.
I think he will. I think he's going to be on screen with Rey. I think he's going to be on screen with Ben Solo. So
who?
Kylo Ren, Ben Solo.
I'm kidding.
I think that because, like John said, it's called The Rise of Skywalker, you can't assume that Lando's going to have more screen time than Luke Skywalker. They're trying to end this series. So
the movie's called The Rise of Lando.
right? So, like, the movie's basically called, like, So Luke Skywalker.
Or The Rise of Calrissian.
Yeah. No, I think Lando's going to be in there pretty minimally. I think he'll probably be in there for the final battle in space, but I think he's there to pad out the fact that Carrie's not in the movie and Harrison's not in the movie, and then technically Mark's not really in the movie. I think they're trying to pad out with some original trilogy characters.
Mm-hmm. I had a really good idea of what I thought Lando would be in the movie, but then like just the fact that he's in the Falcon at one point, I go, then that doesn't make sense to me. What I had envisioned in my head for where he would show up. Right, because you said
he would show up and be like that guy to push them in a certain direction, right? That's what you said?
Yeah, I still think he's going to be on that planet in the desert with all the like the people. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to go there and they're going to be like, what are we doing here? And then he's going to like open up a tent.
Right. You looking for me?
And that's going to be
what
his
do we
reveal.
have here?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to say that, book it. That's the line he's going to say.
Yeah.
He's going to repeat a line?
Yeah. Well, what do we have
I mean, it's
here?
a famous line. It's kind of his thing, right?
I think he's going to say it. I think he's going to say that. He's going to say it to Chewie or something.
We got one more to talk about.
I honestly think really quick though, I think it's going to be a scenario where Rey, Poe, and Finn and Chewbacca and C-3PO are like in trouble with like local tribe people, and they're about to get in trouble like they were with the Ewoks, and then Lando shows up and takes his helmet or hat off, and he's just like, well, what do we have here?
I just thought of what's going to happen.
Oh, word?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
No.
He's like, so Rey?
No, Lacey.
It's like in Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks. And
what if... I don't know that it'll be Leia like sending them to go find Lando, but what if they're on an adventure somewhere and they're in trouble and Chewie's like, I know a guy who can help us out. And he takes them to Lando.
Oh, yeah. I think his reveal is going to be a surprise. I don't think it's going to be a planned one.
But it'd be cool if it was Chewie finally being like, oh, yeah, I know a guy who can help us out. Because usually it'd be Han doing that.
What if they go, he says, I know a guy, and then they go and they're at the same card table they were at in Solo.
That'd be actually kind of interesting. Because that would be a kind of a place where you could see Lando retiring to.
Right.
Like not the dirty, grimy place, but the place at the end, you mean? Like that tropical place?
And then that's where he says, well, what do we have here?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm telling you, he's going to say it, guys. He's saying it. Book it.
I don't like the catchphrases. I don't like hello there. I don't like it.
Hello there. All right, next.
Last one here. This is our 4.5 question. Will John Kasdan, Joonas Suotamo, and or Ron Howard use the hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen on May 23rd for Make Solo 2 Happen Day? Woo! Guys, we're putting together a little push here.
A crew? Would you say we're putting together a crew?
Oh, I like that.
Do you get it, James? We're putting.
I know a guy.
We're a Big Shot podcast
or something. Yeah. So it has. It's been kicked around. Some of these guys. We're not trying to like say we know what's up or whatever, but we know John Kasdan, Joonas, and Ron Howard all are aware the hashtag Make Solo 2 happen. They've kicked it around. They're waiting for the right time, in our opinion.
Rob Brito
to pop in every
ILM.
once in a while. But they've all seen it. They've all supported it in some way. And we're just kind of curious if this could be a day when one of these guys actually officially says, I am down with what these people are trying to do. So, I mean, do you guys have anything to say about Make Solo 2 Happen Day or your opinion on them using the hashtag?
John, creator of hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen?
Well, John Kasdan quote tweeted our photo from Celebration saying that he loves it and you never know what could happen. Tell Rob Brito and tell blah, 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 tell all these people. And we did. And apparently Rob Brito liked someone's tweet about it. And Joonas liked the t-shirts and he used the hashtag in his Instagram post. And Lacey told me that and I lost my mind. I don't know that Ron Howard has used it, but I have a feeling he had to have seen it at this point.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He may have liked a tweet or two. And then, you got Brian Herring, the guy who was BB-8 in the sequel trilogy, came up to James with that sweatshirt you're wearing right now and said, can I get a photo? We didn't even know who Brian, it was him. And we took a photo with him, or he took a photo of it.
I wonder who he sent it to.
He tweeted it out, I think.
He tweeted it out.
No, but he probably sent it to someone.
Oh, yeah, maybe he sent it to like Rob Brito or someone from ILM.
So it was after that happened that John Kasdan retweeted the photo.
And so it's made the rounds, and the eyes have seen it, and people who have not paid attention to it probably have seen it. So, and like James said, we're not trying to like say like we did it or we're doing it, but we are proud to have this movement because every time I watch this friggin' movie, like I just put it on again the other night, I am in such a good mood. It is such a good movie, and it deserved way better. It is just like Han Solo himself. It is the underdog. So on May 23rd, without a doubt, I am hoping at least one of these guys or all three of these guys or anyone involved with Solo, from the actors to the crew, do see that and use it. Because like I said, if they were able to make Willow 2 happen, which was a pretty whack movie, no offense, and didn't make a lot of money, and they're able to potentially bring that back with Ron Howard on the streaming service, I think they can make Solo 2 happen. And this isn't just to sell t-shirts or anything like that. We want to see it, whether it's a series or movie. So everyone, May 23rd, it's a Thursday. Whether you have our shirts or not, just tweet out the logo, Make Solo 2 happen, or just the hashtag if you wear a Solo shirt or you're holding a DVD, anything. Let's make Solo 2 happen. Let's have some fun with it on May 23rd, and let's see what happens. Let's take our shot.
All right. Well, it's hard to follow that.
Yeah.
So
Lacey, say everything again.
I just really like Solo. I watched it packing for Celebration. I watched it when I got back. We were really geeking out over Celebration when we heard people talking about it and using the hashtag and John Kasdan tweeting our photo of us in the hotel room. We were all like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And like John said, like, we're not looking to like make money or like be popular from this. We really just genuinely love this movie and we want to see it happen. And we've taken it upon ourselves to talk about it nonstop. So that's where we are. Hope it happens. Ron, I'm coming for you.
Yes. Hashtag Make Solo 2 happen, Mr. Cunningham.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for the Will the Force questions this week. I don't know when that segment's ever going to make a return. Maybe in like a week from now. But we're going to move on to something that we actually haven't done in a while, which is the Kessel Run. John, do you want to explain again what we're doing this week for the Kessel Run? We can get started on who's going first.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? It's a ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Okay, so the Kessel Run, in honor of Han Solo, Chewie, and the crews, incredible achievement back in the day.
In Solo.
Yes. Yeah. We have used the number 12 to come up with the 12 best or 12 worst or 12 whatever of a single topic in Star Wars. And this week, we decided to do best creatures in Star Wars. And that doesn't include sentient beings. So you can't pick like Wookiees or Jawas or things that can speak to people and that sort of thing. So non-sentient, 12 best creatures in Star Wars. What's more cool than cool creatures in Star Wars? So we're going to give our shot and give you each of us brought 4 items to the table, 4 creatures to the table, and we'll put together our list. And then we want to hear from you guys what you think would be on your list and what you think of our list and that sort of thing. So I don't care who starts first here. But let's get this thing rolling. Does anyone want to go first? How about that?
I think James does.
Okay, so
No,
James...
I don't want to go. All right, fine.
So,
Okay,
James, your first best creature in Star Wars on the Kessel run. Let's begin right now.
Loathe wolves.
Oh, that is pretty good. Although, don't they talk, though?
They don't really talk, but they communicate in a way that I think is like how you can sort of speak or understand your animals. They're supposed to be the most like dog pet-like, if you will, I think, more so than other creatures. But I think that the whole entity behind what Dave Filoni wanted to portray with this is there's so much more to the actual real creature of wolves, where the mentality about how majestic they can be, but is so wild at the same time. It's almost like there is a real creature that has so much lore behind it. And just by designing the creature to be something similar to that real life creature, it automatically brings all this backstory with it. And it just immediately makes these creatures wonderful, like in so many different ways, without them even needing to go into the lore. Just having them stand on the top of a mountainside and start howling or something, you're like, those things are cool. Like, you know, because you can connect with them on a real life basis as well. So, Loathe wolves for me are one of the more fascinating creatures, and that doesn't even get into all the stuff like how they can travel, between different locations and all sorts of things, and how they're somehow aware of the bigger force. You know, like they were telling Kanan about prophetic things. You know. And I say that in the loose way because I know there's like aren't they sentient? John, you brought that up, but like I really don't think so. Even the you can't have a conversation. You know, you're not gonna have a loath wolf bartender in a different comic. You know, you never know. I can guarantee it, but they they're animals, but they're animals of the Force, and it's just really cool. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good first pick. It's definitely a huge lore attached type of creature that has mystery to it, but also earthly and almost you get those like Native American referential vibes from them.
Yes,
for sure. So I think that's a good pick.
Who goes next?
Who does go next? Lacey, you, me, who?
You.
Lacey.
Me.
Oh, yeah, him.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay, my first pick is jacked fish.
So dumb.
I'm just going to give my other 3, and I will see you guys later.
Now...
What is it called, actually?
It's called Sando Aqua, and it's the bigger fish that Qui-Gon Jinn is talking about in The Phantom Menace that does this.
Audio people, he's is
flexing.
Just showing his arm biting off something.
He's flexing and chewing.
So jacked fish From the Phantom Menace, the bigger fish.
It's also in the Forces of Destiny thing with Padme.
Yeah, he looks like, or it looks like Godzilla underwater, kind of, and it just takes a bite out of something like it's like a grenade and just throw the rest of the way. So I thought jacked fish was a cool thing. It was new, it was fresh, it was interesting, and he's jacked. Like he's got huge arms, so he could do some damage underwater there. So if you like jacked fish, then in the comments put hashtag jacked fish. And I don't care if it's Sando Aqua. I think jacked fish is a better name for jacked fish. So that's my pick.
Did you just come up with that?
Jacked fish.
Do you even lift, bro?
Do you even lift, bro? I was gonna go with something else, but then I reminded myself of jacked fish. So
oh geez, that name is so good. So when I was thinking about creatures for Star Wars, what I realized very quickly is the ones that came to my head were either super adorable or super dangerous. And I find that genuinely my experiences with Star Wars are the super adorable fun moments and the ones that I could die. And I feel like every time we do a list like this, I'm always like, how can I die in Star Wars? And this list is no different. So the first one, the first creature that I'm going to go through is the Sarlacc pit.
Oh.
This thing gave me nightmares growing up because the idea that I would be dropped into this pit and then digested for 1,000 years was just like, so perfect to a small child to really consider.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, but it's a really awesome creature because that whole scene is amazing, and it's only amazing because of the Sarlacc pit. The thing that pops off in the top of my head was when the tentacle grabs Lando and he does that like squeal scream.
Yeah.
Like, ah.
Yeah.
I hate the beak that was added after the fact.
I was going to ask you, are you a supporter of special edition Sarlacc pit?
The Little Shop of Horrors Audrey 2 beak? Yeah.
That's what it does. I hate it. But also, the best thing about the Sarlacc pit is that it killed Boba Fett. Got him. Next.
Did it though?
Kinda did.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Is he though?
Yeah. Is he though? Yeah. Sarlacc pit. Yeah, that's classic. Like that's one of those like things when, like, if you remember seeing those old cool like action figure commercials where they're always cooler than when you're playing with the toys at home, where these kids somehow have these awesome play sets. I always pictured having like the whole Sarlacc pit and you threw the characters in there. But then at home, you're like, here's a napkin and I'll just like throw the guy in the napkin or something like.
Or like between couch cushions
in the middle
or
of the
something?
couch cushion. Yeah, you just try to come up with something yourself, I guess. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is if you ever
Someone listening right now is like, I did that.
Probably. You're probably
The
right.
other thing too is if you look at the diagram of like it cut in half and you see like what the actual creature is, it's what? Like who's like, yes,
weird.
there are several stomachs and different areas, and you're like, ooh.
Its body is like an anthill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when you see the filming behind the scenes. It's just like 4 feet down, and it's like 6 old mattresses, and the guys fall onto them. I love old Star Wars. They were just so bootleg with how they made stuff.
Just throw them in, Hank. It's okay. We're
got
down
a couple
here.
extra twin mattresses from the Ramada Inn. Throw them in. Bing bang boom. Sarlacc's in the room.
Is this my number 2?
This is your number 2 pick on the Kessel Run, our 4th overall pick of the 12. Here we go.
All right. I had already picked this one, but I saw a couple of people throwing it out. I think John mentioned something about it, but my number 2 pick is the Zillo Beast.
Oh,
from the Clone Wars.
Because it lets you know how much your home is worth. I agree.
What was that?
It lets you know how much your home is worth.
What?
Zillow?
What?
No.
Oh,
You're the
gosh.
worst. Go ahead, James.
I'm like, I don't understand that. He was on Coruscant. Like
The real estate
like,
people out there know what I'm talking about.
Nobody knows.
All right.
You jacked fish. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, John brought up the jackfish earlier, reference to kind of Godzilla, but I think this is more the Godzilla reference here. This ancient mythological creature that lives on this planet that comes out of nowhere and it kind of gave that the new trailers right now are like, oh, he's not on our world, we're in his kind of thing, you know?
Right.
This Zillo Beast owned this planet, and he came out, and I thought it opened up a lot of really cool lore too, like with Anakin trying to cut into him with a lightsaber and it not working. So then Palpatine's like, oh, this is, you know, maybe we should be looking into this because I got a plan and I could really use something that lightsabers is ineffective against. Which has never really been brought up, but I think that regardless, it seems to go into that like vault of backup plans, you know, or like good ideas.
Wait, James,
maybe
I'll get.
It's a sticky note plan for Palpatine.
Are you trying to tell me that Palpatine's gonna come back in Episode 9 wearing like Zillo Beast skin?
Yeah, that would be great.
He's just like, you can't get me.
But no. Yeah, but there's also like this deeper message too of like he wasn't really being it's not a scary creature, he's like a misunderstood creature, and they did all that, and they also alluded to like whether he may or may not have been cloned. There may be another Zillo Beast still out there with further stories. I just thought it was like a really cool idea that they kind of got into for a little bit, and he is definitely like, I could be wrong on this, but I think he might be one of the largest creatures in all of Star Wars.
How big is he?
I mean, he's massive. I don't
he
really
jacked,
know how to. No, but
is
I
he
think
bigger
he's
than a
that.
space slug?
Ooh.
I'd say about somewhere about the same size. So I don't know. I'd say he's one of. Let's say one of.
Okay,
Like,
that's fair.
Who wins in a fight?
Him and the space slug would be a good
Who wins
fight.
in a fight? Zillo Beast or jacked fish?
Zillo Beast for sure.
That's garbage.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the fight takes place on land, so yours is dead.
Well, that's true. All right.
All right.
Okay, Zillo Beast. Good pick. Zillo Beast, skin, armor, Palpatine. Okay. Who goes next? Me, right? Okay. Banthas. Think about it.
Zillo definitely beats Banthas.
Well, we're not doing like, this isn't like Marvel
Banthas
versus
are like-
Capcom.
I know it's not. I know. I'm just teasing.
No, Banthas, because one, it's one of the first creatures you see in Star Wars that was probably complicated to put together from the beginning. You have all these people involved. Like think about like Snuffleupagus and Sesame Street times a billion. You have it's 10 feet tall. It's almost like a mastodon, right? Is that the?
They had elephants underneath the costumes.
Yeah, they had elephants underneath the costumes, but you also had people having to move certain parts of it, and you had the fur thing, and you had people riding on top of it, and there was a lot involved there to make that happen. And also blue milk. Everyone always talks about blue milk in Star Wars. Well, you know, you're welcome from the Bantha community that you got to talk about blue milk all the time. So I think Banthas are a very important creature in Star Wars for many reasons. One being that they're cool. Two being that they set the bar for big creatures in Star Wars. We talk about all these big creatures like Zillo Beast, jackfish. Banthas were the first big creature we saw. And then, of course, like I said, blue milk. So I went old school with that one, back to the origins with the Bantha as my second pick.
They kind of look like Jim Henson characters.
They really do. It's
Like
the front
from
jaw
Labyrinth or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the front
I think
jaw.
that's what I like about it, though. You know, it's like that Fraggle Rock vibe, and like
It looks like Ludo from the Labyrinth.
That's After I said
Ludo.
Labyrinth, I was like, oh, you know what? It's kind
Smell
of like
bad. Yeah.
And people reference Banthas all the time. Bantha Poodoo.
Should you need us? I don't know what it's.
Yeah, I don't know. I just had to go with Banthas. So there you go.
Ludo smell. Okay. My next one is the Dyin Olga.
Yeah, I gave that to you, didn't I?
No. It was in my first choice list. No, this creature super important to A New Hope. It was one of those creatures that after Banthas that you see on screen and you're like, what am I getting into with Star Wars? Like, there's a creature in the garbage disposal, and then it made you like question. I keep going back to when I was little because these things are from when I was little, but like you question what else is like underneath water or like what's in things. So, but yeah, no, it's just so cool. I love the little eyeball that pops up. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then when you see a picture of what it really looks like, you're like, wait, what? But it's such a creative, like, Star Wars sci-fi creature.
I love when
I don't even know
that.
if I know what it looks like.
It's like got the eyeball, and then it comes down, and it kind of looks like a...
There's tentacles and stuff, right?
It's not a tentacle. It's like, I'm trying to think of, like a kind of like a manatee flipper, but there's 4 sides.
All right, I'm going to look this up.
I'm pretty sure.
I love that when they do that.
It's like a really weird starfish, kind of.
Oh. Ooh.
Because can you hold it up?
He's
to the camera?
definitely tentacly.
Is he tentacly? But doesn't he have like some type of fins?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Then what am I thinking
He's
of?
more like a squid with the eyeball thing on the top.
Yeah, you're right.
And
You're right.
his mouth is like sickening. Ugh.
But what's funny is when they made that, it was like someone's arm just holding that rod and sticking it up out of the water.
Hey Hank, can you stick? It's the same mattress guys. They're like, hey Hank, can you just like stick your arm up?
Yeah. It's like Phil Tippett or one of those guys from the old school creature department. And it was probably like literally like a piece of like an iron bar, and they just put like a softball on top and painted it. And it was like, that's the Dyin Olga. And then someone later on's like, let me draw this giant underneath of it. And
yeah, it looks legendsy.
Legendsy, yeah. No, I like the Dyin Olga because it makes you think about the first time Han was concerned for Luke's well-being.
Not even that. When the first time the gang's all together in a situation where they're like, oh crap, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. But like before then, Han's like, money, money, money. Yeah, whatever,
Right.
kid.
Then he's kid. Yeah.
And then he goes underwater and he's like, Luke, are you okay? Luke. So
Kind of reminds me of the thing in Force Awakens, the like sand thing on Jakku that like sticks his little head up and he's like, Ikupa. You know what I'm talking about? But it's actually like this weird giant
Forces of Destiny.
Anglerfish
Yeah, there's just like this big thing. Yeah. Dyin Olga, old school. I dig it. James, we are at the halfway point, so why don't you take us to pick 7? Your third pick.
All right. So out of all of the movie creatures, which I think is frankly a little lame, it's like picking your favorite bands off the radio or something. But I do have one that I think is really great, and that is the Volt text from Last Jedi. I think that the sound is what is really cool. I'm
the jingle jangle.
I'm the guy that like. Yeah, I'm the guy that when you go to like a natural history museum and they have like all those soft stones that are like smooth, I like put my hands in them and like pick them up because I like the sound of the like the feeling of all those like magnets that they have too that are kind of like that.
So just to be clear,
and that's what
you like going to the museum to feel soft stones.
I like when I'm at the museum and they have soft stones, I go, ooh, okay. I don't go to the museum to feel the soft stones. To go back to that exhibit.
James walks into the museum, he's like, where's the soft stone exhibit, please?
Yeah. Do you guys have like those like multicolored rocks?
I love your sound effect for, do the sound effect again for knocking the stones together?
It's like not even really accurate at all. But that sound is kind of what I'm reminded of. And I can't even tell you, to be honest, if it's even in the movie. But when I see those like foxes, if you will.
No, there's a noise to them when they move.
With like,
the jingle
there's
jangle.
something about like, there's like a hard rock touching other rock every time they like and kind of.
If I got $1 for every time James said rock in this little explanation.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool and interesting creature that something oddly fresh.
Well, I remember
to Star Wars.
The behind the scenes reel when they first showed them,
The robot,
the animatronics of them, it was like, whoa, what is that? Like, people are like, is that a Loth Wolf? Are they finally doing those live action? And then it turns out it was something else. And they blended, I guess, the CGI, and they used actual dogs to motion capture, like German Shepherds or something like that.
Yeah, like as similar as they may seem to my other answer of the Loth Wolves, like I really think they're different, and I like them for different reasons. Like, there's something different about the lore that I was talking about earlier about the Loth Wolves. I just really like the look of and the concept behind the Volt Texas.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I think they're very cool creatures. It's again one of those things like you wish they were more involved or something. They served the purpose for everybody, but I felt like it was so quick.
Yeah.
But
I don't think they need to be like, and here's the big scene with the animal.
Well, I'd rather see them
like,
than the father years. Honestly, there's a reason why those things didn't make the list.
Yeah.
Boring. All right.
Okay, John, what's next?
I am your father.
That couldn't be father from the truth.
Yeah.
My next pick. It's cold. Really cold. You got to get around. So, what do? You hop on the back of one of these babies.
The cave monster thing?
Tauntauns, baby. That's right. Tauntauns. They are selfless. They are there for you when you need them. They take you to the brink, and even if they die doing their best to get you where you need to go, you cut those babies open, sleeping bag.
Hot pockets. John, your sound effect sounded like a mix between the Tauntaun and the Imperial probe droid, like Sentinel thing.
Yeah.
I said when we decided to do this list, I told John, if you don't make this sound effect, then why are we here? What's the point?
And also, it's like one of the coolest Han Solo lines ever is because of the Tauntauns. Like, your Tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker, then I'll see you in hell. Like, it just that whole scene, that whole sequence, and
I thought you were gonna say, I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Yeah, and then Han Solo uses a lightsaber to cut that puppy open. So
he does.
I just like Tauntauns. Again, it's another Jim Henson definite puppet type of thing. They use the stop motion thing. There's just so much involved in making those creatures, and you see the photos of the behind the scenes and the crews that put these things together, the creature departments, the old school Jim Henson teams, and the people from Lucasfilm, and it's amazing what they were able to do in 1979 to make that happen. And then if you look at the waist down, what it like really looked like, and sometimes it was just like a gymnast vault type of thing, and it's just so interesting to me. And then the creatures themselves, just like Hoth is so rigid. And then it added like some sense of fun to it, seeing the Tauntauns, as opposed to just being ship, droid. It's like they gave something else there that had life on that planet, which interested me.
I was thinking of the first tracking shot in film history was.
Oh, we talked about that. Yeah.
With the Tauntauns and stuff too.
Yeah. So Tauntauns. So.
They're so loyal too to the rebellion, you know, like many Tauntauns died to bring us this information.
Right, and their name is so cool that they say it twice. So perfect.
I just loved how, like John said, you know, Han cuts it open, obviously, but it's one of those things I remember about Han because he's so resourceful. Mm-hmm. And it showed me like who Han was as a person. Like if he needs to survive, he'll do whatever he needs to do, including going into a dead animal.
Yeah.
Like he's willing to do whatever he needs to do to survive.
And damn,
like when they go to pick him up, they're like, "Oh man, it's nice to see you, Han. How's everything?" "Oh my God, what did you do?"
Yeah, Rogue 2.
Is that Commander Skywalker?
Rogue 2 retired after that day, James.
Yeah,
I just want to know how Han didn't.
I've seen things.
How Han
I want to know how Luke didn't get an infection.
Yeah, I think Han wrapped him in Zillo Beast skin so that he didn't get any diseases from it.
I'm just
That makes
saying,
sense.
you don't transferring of fluids.
But didn't you? I felt a little bad for the Tauntaun when you see right before it dies, you see its face. It just looks
can
like
do
after you
that,
like
Lacey.
run and
You
you're
did that in
outside,
The
you got
Revenant.
boogers hanging out of your nose, and you're just like, oh God, I'm not gonna make it. And then it just falls over.
How
and
do
you're
you
like, oh.
run?
I run outside with boogers hanging out of my face.
Apparently.
All right, so that's my third pick. So that means we go to Gillerin for her third pick, which would be our ninth pick. Okay, let's go.
Yes. So my next pick is one of my favorite creatures of all time. It's probably my favorite creature in the original trilogy, and it is the Rancor.
Oh.
I love the Rancor. There's a Rancor behind me, actually. It is one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars when Luke gets thrown down into the pit and then he fights the Rancor and kills the Rancor. But then also the funniest thing / coolest thing about this scene is he gets thrown down there. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? He gets picked up by the Rancor. He throws the bone in, so he distracts the Rancor with rocks and stuff. And then the door closes on the Rancor, and then you immediately feel sad for the Rancor. Like, talk about that storytelling, is that you're like, oh, this thing sucks. It's going to kill Luke Skywalker.
Design.
Yes. And he goes, and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Not the Rancor. So I love the Rancor. I think it's a really, really cool creature in Star Wars. And just like the scope of the size and the puppetry and the way it works and the special effects, it just stands the test of time. And to me, it reminds me of like when I saw Jurassic Park for the first time and you see the animatronic T-Rex. Like it's like that type of like, oh my gosh, this thing is gigantic. I also want a pet Rancor, like real bad.
It would have been interesting to see that out of the Rathtars. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, this scene is like kind of whatever. And then like something happens where it like oddly humanizes the Rathtars, you know?
Yeah.
Right. And then you see the Keeper cry, the Rancor Keeper.
Yeah. I think the thing about the Rancor, you almost feel like, I don't know what the canon thing is with like a Rancor Keeper and the Rancor, but it's almost like Jabba forced them to be there and forced the Rancor Keeper to have the beast there and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so
like the Rancor's the like lead gladiator, but like nobody wants to be a gladiator. You just are there surviving as much as anybody else. Yeah.
Right. And then I actually felt bad for the Gamorrean guard when he just picks that little guy up and he just like eats him.
My cousin used to be like, bacon every single time.
They are quite piggish, that's for sure.
Wow.
I think they used different scale models for that because one of them they do the, what do you call that when it's scale positioning, where they use they made Luke look like he was actually there and it really wasn't. They used blue screen, and then they also use small models. So they used a lot to make that happen. And I always like that stuff, so it's a good pick.
I just love the Rancor.
What else?
Also, can I get a chair that drops people into a pit and then slides over it?
Yeah, you're like, what pit?
And then Lacey, when you get that, can you hire me just to stand there and go, but you're standing on the, and I'll stop every time after that.
All right, last picks for each of us. Pick number 10. James, your final pick is what?
So this one was a little bit reverse engineered. I was like, man, what's like a really cool thing in real life? And I wonder if there is any sort of Star Wars equivalent to it. And I was like, oh yeah, duh. The Starboard. The Starboard is probably like if there ever was a legendary Pokemon in the Star Wars galaxy, it would be the Starboard. This thing is rumored to be immortal. And anytime it ever gets close to death, it finds an exploding sun and rebirths itself within the exploding sun. And it is the Star Wars equivalent of the Phoenix. So that's why it was used by, it was actually kind of talked about more in depth in the Rebel Rising book. but it was most famously sketched and kind of talked about with Sabine, who was using it within her artwork. And then when she was hired to make the art for the Rebellion, she used it famously as the Rebellion logo.
Right.
Which is a Starboard made and turned into a symbol, which is really cool in my opinion. But the closest we have to a like physical representation of it, or like a visual thing, is in a book about Sabine's artwork, and she sketched it, and she says, it's got these big long wings and a long tail, and then its head is kind of like elongated with like a kind of a crescent shape to it. And it just looks and sounds like really cool to think that this thing is like a giant phoenix flying around in space. It reminds me of like
and it looks
legendary
like a
Pokemon and stuff. Sort of, but not so reptilian. Obviously more like phoenixy.
Yes.
Bird-like.
Yes. No,
Very cool.
But I think this is like at the core of it, the creature that represents the war in Star Wars,
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Lacey's like, that is the stupidest answer I've ever heard.
No, I'm genuinely interested in what you're saying. I've never heard of it before, to be honest. So it sounds really cool because I love the idea of a phoenix coming from the ashes and everything. It sounds great.
Yeah.
It's not remotely as cool as my final pick, but that's okay.
What's yours? When was yours used as a symbol for rebellion?
No, mine's used as a symbol for comedy, and comedy is life. Mine is the greatest creature in the history of probably cinema, let alone Star Wars, and that is Kowakian monkey lizards, aka Salacious B. Crumb. I just every time I see him, every time I hear him, I am filled with joy and happiness and laughter. And then also they expanded these things and made different variations of them in as recent as Resistance. They had jacked Kowakian monkey lizard in Resistance on that weird spaceship in that Alien-like episode that felt like the movie Alien.
50% of your list is jacked creatures.
They're jacked creatures, right? Jacked banthas. Have you seen those? They're insane.
Yeah.
So John's got jacked creatures. Yours are like
jacked
based
tauntauns.
Yours are based in like lore and understanding of like myth
Spiritual
and legend.
lore, right.
Mine are dangerous.
Dangerous, yes.
Things that are going to kill me.
Yes.
Yeah, like your last pick.
Now,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Kowakian monkey lizard, I don't know, something about Salacious Crumb, even as a kid, I always just really liked him. I think his laugh is funny, even how he like moves his head, how he taunts people, how he gets annoyed at people, and just he's just like a little annoying little pain in the ass, but you just love him because he's like so ugly that he's cute. I don't know.
He has a very Muppety movement to him.
And
I don't know if people know what I mean. It's like the Muppety.
That whole thing.
Yeah, that's a very Muppet puppeteering style.
And I'm a sucker for the Muppets, so that's probably a big part of it inherently. But I just love Salacious B. Crumb, and I love Kowakian monkey lizards because of it. And I'm very upset that they're going to be cooking some of those up in The Mandalorian, apparently. So
not only that, it's not only are they cooking them, the cooking them. You're like, okay, whatever. It's they have another one in a cage next to the one being cooked, being like
a lobster cage. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
messed up, Jon Favreau.
Everything about, and I guess a lot of my picks are old school because of how they're created. But it's funny,
Practical.
you have Jabba, which took like 11 people to operate, and then you would just have Salacious Crumb, which probably took maybe one, maybe two, depending on mouth movements and arms.
It's probably one guy.
Yeah, and then you have Mark Dobson, who did the voice, and that laugh is just like, you talk about things that recognize in Star Wars for sounds. That laugh, everyone knows what that laugh is if they hear that, and I think it's just it's so funny, and I love using the GIF of Salacious Crumb laughing at people. It's just, he's so annoying, but you can't do anything about it. It's like one of those situations. So without a doubt, when I knew we were doing this list, I had to pick Kowakian monkey lizards mainly for Salacious B. Crumb, of course. And what a good name, Salacious B. Crumb. So we are at the last pick, which, Lacey, you have one more pick, right?
Yeah.
So you are going to pick what?
The most dangerous thing in the galaxy.
Oh.
Jacked bird.
So, jacked bird. So what?
No,
what is it?
my number one pick in the galaxy for creatures is the porgs.
Oh my god, the porgs.
Surprise! It's
Wow.
the porg. I think that first of all, they're adorable. Second of all, they're cute. Third, I want one. But I think they were a really good addition to Last Jedi, and I think they took kind of the world by storm once they came out in the trailers. And they don't really do much. They're pretty stupid, but sometimes you just need, like John said, fun comedic relief. And the scene where Chewie's about to eat one is one of the funniest scenes in Star Wars, hands down.
Yeah.
And I love the Gary the Porg that's in the Millennium Falcon that's helping them like find the crystal foxes, and he's like swatting it around the Millennium Falcon. Like, I just love it, and I think they're so cool and they're so funny. And the idea of where they came about is really cool too. The idea that they shot all this stuff in Ireland and there were puffins everywhere. So instead of taking the time and money and effort to edit them all out, they just were like, oh yeah, this is a thing now. And they just made these birds to cover the amount of puffins they had in their footage, which
They were ruining the audio.
Yes. And so it's
because
kind of...
no matter how quiet you try to make it, these things were like, like during a take. And they're like, we can't edit that out.
Right. So the one thing that I find funny, though, throughout The Last Jedi is that they definitely throw them in from time to time if there's a puffin in the background, just to be like, that's not a puffin, it's a porg.
Yeah. Yep.
But they're little, like, crazy animals that cause trouble. They're kind of like me. They're, like, adorable, but, like, always starting stuff. Saving the day.
I think porgs are cool. I was annoyed by them for a while because everyone was just too much porg leading up to The Last Jedi that I was like, I got so sick of it. Like, I love cheeseburgers, but if I eat 5 billion of them, even after watching Endgame, I would be like, no, I don't want another cheeseburger.
Soon.
So,
too soon.
Well, the embargo lifted on Monday, so I can talk spoilers about Endgame now.
Too soon.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm back on them again in terms of liking them because it's been a while, and I do like that one where it lands and then it like nuzzles up against the other one in the background. I think that's cute. And then the one guy stamping on the lightsaber.
Yeah, and originally went through its face.
The eye. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think they're fun little creatures.
And the puppetry is crazy too. Like they had different types of puppets where they could breathe and like be like,
Yeah, and they put a lot of thought into making them, and I think they helped make that island, even though they're naturally there with these puffin things, they made that island seem less desolate, I guess, besides the nuns, whatever those things are, the caretakers. You had those things flying around, and obviously it sold a lot of merch too, of course. So
I love the porgs. They're the best.
I keep thinking
in Star Wars.
It's a nice callback what you were saying, Lacey, because like the same thing happened when they were on Hoth and those walruses. Like they kept trying to do takes, and it was like. And so they're like, I guess we got to come up with a creature that makes that sound.
All those walruses in Norway.
Just kidding.
Well,
Just
guys, you should let us know what creature you think is the best in the comments, aka porgs.
Yeah.
See you there.
Which ones did we not mention?
Oh, that's
so. This is what you guys need to do.
Good ones that we didn't know.
Hashtag jacked fish in the comments.
No.
That's what you need to do. Look at these two. They don't want you to do it. They don't want you to have fun.
Porgs,
it's dumb.
To stick it to them, hashtag jacked.
Yeah, you know what's going to be a
fish.
lot of fun? Somebody being like, add new comment, hashtag jacked fish. Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Now you got to do it. You hear that voice James just put on? You have to do it now, guys. Hashtag jacked fish. Hashtag James is a banana.
We'll see.
Hashtag cackle. Hashtag make Solo 2 happen.
Yeah. Hashtag, return of the cackle. All right, guys. So our list, we have Lothwolves, Zillow Beast, Vulptex, Starboard, Jacked Fish.
Top 4.
Banthas, Tauntauns, Kawaki and Monkey Lizards. I could probably stop the list there, obviously.
Hey!
Sarlacc, Dyin Olga, Rancor. 11.
James over there dreaming of touching soft rocks
John
right now.
over here.
And the
the Rancor.
And they are Rancor. And the most inspired pick, creative pick, Porgs.
Porgs.
It's like being like, I don't even know what it's
Are we
like.
doing resistance transmissions?
Yeah, so
James has got soft rocks to touch. We got to get moving here.
that's true. We have to go to the museum and touch soft rock. So thanks, guys, for listening to the Kessel Run. Now it is time to head to our segment that involves you guys. And it's called Resistance Transmissions. And she's called Lacey Gillerin, and she's going to take it away right now.
So all these answers better be Porg related, or what's the point? All right.
Why do you keep saying, what's the point?
I know.
I that's my phrase today. Just let me have this.
It's my brand, bro.
Let me have this moment. I thought we were buddies because we have matching shirts on.
I'm going to
Couple of
bully you.
buddies.
Why is your text
I'm going to
blue?
bully you on Twitter after this episode.
Did you wash that in hot water?
What?
Nothing. Go on.
No, it's white.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's time for Resistance Transmissions. Okay, so Resistance Transmissions are where every week John puts up a crazy, wacky situation on Twitter, and then you guys give your best answers, and then I read them live. So I've never read the situation. I don't know what the tweet is. Here we go. All right, so the situation is we created a mock version of the crawl. Oh, this is the direction to me? Okay, so...
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay. We created a mock version of the crawl for episode 9 and posted it to our Twitter account with the opening line being episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back, comma. And this, we wanted you guys to tell us what the next line of the crawl will be. All right. So then he put in parentheses, please read this before each one. Okay, John. Okay. Up first is Mark Newbold at prefect_timing. Hi, Mark. Nice to hear from you. Miss you, bud. He said, Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back. Wait, what? So Mark broke the rules and didn't... Oh, okay. So Mark said, can we revise the title of the film from The Rise of Skywalker to Palp Fiction and have Travolta in as Vincent Palpatine and Samuel L. Jackson as Julius Windu?
Like I said, he didn't do what he's supposed to do here, but Mark
I
is
love that.
the man.
Mark, you're
and
the
I
best.
thought that was so funny, so I had to throw it in. So Mark, you're the man.
Well done, Mark.
Mark
All
Newbold
right.
of Fantha Tracks, by the way.
Of Fantha Tracks. I apologize. I should
It
have
was
you
a
guys.
foot rub. It was a Fantha rub.
All right.
That's their whole opening monologue of the movie about the foot rub.
All right. So next is the big
Foot
Trevbowski
massage.
at Spin Up the FTL.
Big Trevbo.
And he wrote, Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back, ... Guess who's back? Back again. Backstreet Boys. Sheev's
Nope.
back. Tell a friend. Oh no, this is Eminem.
Yep.
She's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? I've created a monster because nobody wants to see Marshall no more. They want to see Sheev baby. All right. Cool.
I like how deep it went. It just kept going.
What we don't know is the thread kept going and he did the whole song.
The whole
Um,
song. He did the whole album, actually.
Nice.
Mom spaghetti.
Next is
Palp is sweaty.
Mike Sellers at Puke 32 Sellers. Ellers. PUK 32 Ellers. And he wrote, Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back, returning to a now post-cackle galaxy. Can we stop with the cackle?
Hashtag cackle.
Gosh.
I'm so sick of that word.
There's
Next
still more to
is
come, Lacey.
Grant Zeppernick at Grant_Zep. Hi, Grant. And he wrote, Sheevy
Hello.
Babes, Palpatine is back, and he can't stop cackling. Ugh. Next is Joshua B at Darth Glucosa. And it's Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back. And he's all out of bubble gum. What?
It's a They Live
From
reference.
Duke Nukem.
No, They Live.
They Live.
I came here to do two things, kick ass and chew
Yeah.
bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
I first experienced it with Duke
Rest in
Nukem, but I'm
peace.
sure...
Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Sorry, Josh, I didn't get your reference, but it sounds really funny. Next is Mandalorian Mark at Mark Mandalorian. And he said, Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back, and he's here to kick names and take ass. That's from Avengers Infinity War. Part 1, no spoilers. Mantis.
That's like a nod to like Clark Griswold too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is Sean Santarude at Rude Cold. How rude, Sean.
Hey Sean, what's up?
And he
Patron.
wrote, Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back. R2-D2 has buggered off to the far reaches of the galaxy in anger due to the lack of screen time. Oof, felt this one.
Now that seems pretty on point for a crawl, if you ask me.
Next
Good
is
call, Sean.
Chris Britell at Chris Britell.
Way to get that handle, Chris.
And he wrote, Sheevy Palpatine, whatever, baby back. Bad babes back.
I want my Palpatine ribs, baby back.
He wrote, for one night only, this Friday at the Comedy Store with a set so funny, you'll die cackling. I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Okay, next is the Kind of Akins at the Kind of Akins. It's actually just Kind of Awakens. Kind, underscore kind, underscore awakens. And whatever. He wrote, Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back. ... And he didn't tell the whole tragedy of Plagueis Babes the Wise after all.
Plagueis Babes.
Plagueis Babes.
All right. And last but not least is Adam Odell at Odell Adam. Hi, Adam.
Hey, pilot.
Hello.
And he wrote, Sheevy Babes Palpatine is back while Snoke is beside himself. It's more like while Snoke is in half.
That's the
joke.
Laying
beside himself.
He's literally laying beside himself.
More like cutting two.
Oh my god.
My bad.
He's literally laying beside himself.
Yeah.
I thought this is one of the best ones ever sent in. And this is close to a Hall of Famer.
Adam, I'm so sorry.
I think if Lacey got it immediately and had a better reaction, it had contention for Hall of Fame.
Well, I had a good reaction after I got it.
She ruined it.
I'm sorry, Adam. Forgive me. All right, guys. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us at RBATSWNN on Twitter. Every week, John puts up some crazy, wacky scenario. And then you guys give your answers. The most creative, fun ones win. We try to go for the funnier ones because we have these deep discussions and I get depressed and then they try to pull me out of my depression. So, cool. Back to you, John.
Okay, guys, when you're not depressed, you can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN. I want to thank everybody who has joined us. We are growing. I've noticed a big uptick in our viewers. Even our YouTube channel is finally starting to grow a bit, too. So thank you guys who have hopped over and joined us on YouTube and are now watching us. Welcome. Also, iTunes and SoundCloud, you guys are downloading the episodes and listening, so we really appreciate that. And even Spotify is getting a little bit of a charge there. So wherever you like to listen or watch the Resistance broadcasts, make sure you do subscribe so that you're always getting our episodes on Mondays and Thursdays and taking us along for the ride wherever you're going. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys also check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/Resistance Broadcast. We have 5 tiers starting at $2 a month for page access. And also just, to support what we're doing. We really appreciate that greatly.
I think we need a Patreon video where James goes to the museum.
and plays with the soft rocks.
touching rocks.
We can definitely do that. I'm sure. I'm sure we can make that happen. But before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to our Patreon generals, and that is Carmelo, aka a Gray Jedi, our resident running man, Brian Shalito, Don Boring, Aaron Quinton, and Val Trichkoff. Generals, we salute you. Thank you so much for all of your support. You guys are great. And all of our patrons from Tier 1 to Tier 5, thank you so much for supporting us. We're getting closer to our third goal, which means Rogue One commentary on the Patreon page.
Come on, guys.
James'
Get
time
your
has
friends
come.
involved.
Yes, his time is coming. His time is coming. So, guys, what else do we have to talk about here? Of course, make sure you are every day going to StarWarsNewsNet.com. That is our website for all of your latest news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. You guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and writing and editing over at Star Wars Newsnet. And officially, this fall in October, I am returning once again to New York Comic-Con. So I'll be there. Hopefully there's a bigger Star Wars presence than last year. I know in 2017 there's a pretty sizable presence there with the Last Jedi exhibit, so I hope to see some cool stuff. And I'm sure Lacey will probably be joining me in New York as well. But that is it for me. So let me just send it over to the guy who selfishly has the only sweatshirt of his kind. His name is James Bainey. James.
Do you like to DIY it yourself? That's from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Where
I
is
made the
this
shirt
going?
myself.
He made the sweatshirt himself.
All right, cool. Where can people
Do
find
you like
you?
to do it yourself often? Whatever that line is. All right, Meyer Trunks. Bye. See you.
All right, Lacey.
Peace out.
Oh
Cheers,
my
friend
gosh.
Lacey.
People can find me on Twitter at Lacey Gillerin, where I post positive things and have fun and
Yes.
share fun videos and photos and support one another and support good fandom.
Excellent. That's what we always try to do around these parts. Guys, thank you so much again for listening. We are 2 weeks away from Make Solo 2 Happen Day, guys. We talked about it earlier, so make sure you get involved 2 weeks from today, May 23rd. Hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen. I don't care if you tweet about what you had for lunch that day. I don't care if you tweet about how bad your job stinks. If you don't like your boss.
You're just describing your life, John.
If the weather is good or bad, or if you like porgs, you don't like porgs, if you whatever, use the hashtag
We don't care what you
Make Solo 2 Happen.
smell.
Yeah, we don't care what you smell. We don't care if you only have the only sweatshirt that exists in the world of that kind. Just use the hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen, and let's get the word out there. Let's get that thing trending. We appreciate it, and we need you. More than ever, we need you, and we love you. So enjoy your weekends, and we'll see you guys on Monday morning with another new episode right here on the Resistance Broadcast. We'll see you around, kids.